U.S.-China trade war. As everybody knows, it's been in the news for better part of a month. And last week, things kind of cooled off. And it really kind of kicked off with Donald Trump signaling that he is going to soften his stance on the trade war with China. He had several statements to this effect, saying that the 145% tariff will come down, quote, substantially. And I think later on he even emphasized that they won't be removed completely, but he wants to find a deal, and he wants to work with China. Now, the interesting thing is, or the kind of maddening thing about this whole situation is that news came out, and then later in the week, it was just more kind of news all over the place. So the Trump admin said, we are in talks with China. We're negotiating with them. We're talking to them daily. And then the next day, China released statements saying, no, we haven't talked with the Trump administration at all. Right? We're not doing anything with them. We have all these preconditions. And that kind of just leaves the market and me scratching your head going like, okay, so who's telling the truth? Who's not? Are they both kind of mixing the truth here? Anyway, it's a very, I think to me, Graham, it's like a very, it has a very Trump feel to it, this kind of uncertainty in that respect. I don't know if you found that puzzling at all last week.
Yeah. I don't know where I stand with the whole U.S.-China trade war, except I'm confident that it's whatever the end state here is, it's not going to be over like 145% tariffs, because if that were to happen, it effectively just means there's no trade between the U.S. and China, and I don't think that's possible. That would destroy the world. I mean, something's got to give.
Yeah. So, like on this topic again, I'm going to go on a little rant here, but China is in the weaker position. They are definitely in the weaker position, and something that came out from the Chinese government last week really kind of made me angry. So on Thursday, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China, Lin Jian, he stressed that the U.S. launched the trade war first, and China would combat the U.S. government's position. Quote, we will fight, and if fight we must, but our doors are open. If the U.S. wants to talk, dialogue and negotiation must be based on equality, respect, and mutual benefit. This is to say, America is the aggressor, and China's the victim here, and America needs to calm down and come to the table and be respectful. And man, I hate this. I hate all of it. I've talked about this before, but if you want to play this like kind of schoolyard or 6-year-old game of he did it first, China did it first. They did it first. Okay, the gall of this man is incredible, right? The entire Chinese economy is predicated on trade intervention. Now, tariffs are a form of trade intervention, but there are many kinds of forms of trade intervention, and the entirety of China's economy is trade interventionists, right? They take.
Wait, so David, are you saying you're struggling to start a company up in China and keep all the IP to yourself these days?
Exactly. Or how about this? Here's a head scratcher. China has huge GDP, and even the Chinese government is like, why don't Chinese people spend money? Why aren't they consumers? Where's the internal demand from our own people? And it's because of the trade intervention. The Chinese government, they take a lot of that money, most of it, and they take all those the taxes and everything that they should a lot of it that should be going to the Chinese people, making them consumers who have money to consume, and then they subsidize it with all the industry, the manufacturing, and the government itself. And yes, this is a formula that works until it doesn't, right? And it's a kind of clearly seen over history, right? Like Japan did it, and then all the Asian tigers did it, and now China's doing it. But the huge problem is that if you starve the consumer, then the internal demand is just not there. Anyway, I really hate this, and it bothers me that I guess that journalists don't push back on this in these articles. I guess because they're like pro-China, but it's just like, you guys have been doing this forever, and even worse, if you listen to some like old China hands, right? Like people who've been working around China or diplomatically with China. There's internal Chinese documents, and they're not even like that secret. And these documents have said, like explicitly in Chinese, apparently, if you are able to understand it, we are at war with America economically. Now, does that sound like negotiating with equality, respect, and mutual benefit